Welcome to the Why of It All. This is episode 15, and we are on location.
We are in a beautiful house with amazing lighting. Like, we have just all morning been like, oh my God, this is going to be great lighting for recording.
It's so good. And the internet here is amazing. And this is Poppy. For those of you watching on video, this is Poppy. She's probably going to just do whatever she wants the entire time. Poppy answers to no one.
And this is her house.
And she lives here. So we got access to this amazing location that has incredible light and incredible internet. Mm-hmm. And so this might be an episode, Poppy, honey, no, you have to get, this is not about you. This might be an episode where we don't have a single moment of lagging or crackling or anything. We're really excited about it.
Yeah.
So thank you all for being so very patient with us while we do our best with the technology that we have. We will hope to upgrade that technology in the future. But in the meantime, it is such a blessing to be able to have access to this space. And maybe we'll get to do episodes here periodically, more than we think. So anyway, we're psyched about it. Yep. Once again, we have no plan. Yeah. We're just going to wing it. It's been a couple of weeks, since we've really caught up on things. We had Robin here last week.
Mm-hmm. And then we recorded 2 episodes the last time. Yeah. I was sick as a dog. And so this is 3 or 4 weeks that we've seen each other. Yeah, back together.
We definitely have some catching up to do.
We do.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Mm-hmm.
Do we want to talk about our morning? What a beautiful morning. You want to talk about what we did this morning?
I mean, we just lived the dream, basically. With this house that we're in right now, we have access to this amazing freaking souped up street legal golf cart. Yeah. And we were driving that thing all around downtown Austin. Yes. We went and got coffee. We went for a walk around Town Lake. And
well, even before we did that, we woke up in separate little rooms and we came together. We made coffee. We sat out on the porch in front of the pool. We had one first cup of coffee there. We talked about our hopes and dreams, and then we got dressed. We went to Joe's and had some coffee.
It's been lovely. It's been such a lovely morning. And we at the coffee shop, we were talking about what do we want to talk about today on this episode. Mm-hmm. And I loved how, in the past, there's been so much more angst around coming up with the topic and doing the work and all the show prep and everything. And then if you guys remember from episode 13, that was the first time where my husband inspired us to just wing it.
Yes.
And I love that you and I are sitting down at coffee, what do we want to talk about?
Yeah.
And neither one of us was tripping out. Neither one of us was overthinking or ruminating or trying to make it perfect. We're perfectly fine with 30 to 45 minutes of, we could do this, we could talk about that, or we got some catch up to do in this department. And here's a little bit about what's going on, but let's save it for the recording. And it was so laid back.
But it was funny because during this whole podcast recording with my best friend, since we've been doing this since January, this is the first time, and I told her this morning, it was so funny because I came in last night, we had a light dinner, we relaxed, whatever, got a good night's sleep. And we hadn't really done much talking about what we were going to do today. And so today at coffee, when we were at the coffee shop, we're talking, I'm the one who keeps bringing up, what are we going to talk about? What's our day? And usually Melanie is the one that's what are we going to do? What are we going to do? All this show prep and taking notes. And I'm are you okay? Don't have a fever? I was what? And she has just been I have noticed a shift.
Well, that's healing, isn't it?
Right. So that's what we were
talking about celebrating the wins and how we move through the journey. To me, what that's reflective of is that a couple of weeks ago when we had that experience where I freaking spazzed out and was banging my head against a wall till 1 a.m.
Right.
And then Ben comes downstairs and is why don't you guys just wing it? And we did. And through that whole process of spazzing out and then letting go of needing it to be perfect because of all the reasons and all the beliefs and all the things underneath it that were creating the fear that if I don't work my ass off for it, it won't be good enough. That whole experience brought me to the awarenesses, and then I worked through it and I released those beliefs. Then we recorded episode 13 and I loved it.
It was great.
so great.
Fabulous.
And that whole thing created such incredible healing and relief for me that here we are today, just a few weeks later.
I know.
And I'm just like, I don't know, we'll figure it out. It's fine.
And I told her this morning, I'm like, are you okay? Like, you're usually like way more like worried or like anxious about what we're going to record and show prep. And I'm not saying it's not work. Like, we put work into this. It's not that like we're just being lackadaisical about it. But I think what we're discovering through being newbie podcasters is that we work really well, like organically.
Organic
like,
is really our jam.
I kind of feel like that might be our little niche.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, we need to probably pick other podcasters' heads and be like, how much show prep do you do? Like,
I think it's just going to depend on what we want to talk about each time. And we can be flexible with it. There's no rules.
Yeah.
I was talking to a good friend of mine, shout out to Janae, the way that she worded it is like, it's not a religion. You can do it however you want each different time. If one time if you want to put a lot more energy and effort into some particular topic that you care a lot about, or that you feel that topic deserves a bit more research and structure, just do that. And if you just want to wing it, just do that, and everything in between. I'm getting chills right now because I'm thinking how far, you're right. For me, I feel like this is signal that I've come really far in my, it was a point of pride for me for my entire life that I've never half-assed a single thing in my entire life. I am whole ass.
Put your full ass into it.
And that's great.
It is.
Except that'll wreck the hell out of your nervous system if you feel that way about absolutely everything. So what a joy in this moment I am feeling. And I'm feeling really proud of myself and such relief to just be like, it's going to be great. Let's just do it.
I'm proud of you too. I am so proud. No, really. Like, this is
Gina's been trying to get me to chill the F out for a long time.
No. Like, I also admit too, that like, that's one of her superpowers too, is like this over preparation. Like, there's parts of me that I wish I was more, you know what I mean? We've talked about that before, but it's cool to see the change and see how, much more chill. And I just think honestly, we're finding our groove.
Totally.
Since the inception of the why of it all, we have just grown. That's what this is about. And we're going to keep evolving and things are going to keep changing, right?
It turns out what this show is about, I guess, is Gina and I and our personal healing journeys happening publicly for everybody to see.
Why not?
And if it resonates with you guys, and if you, you feel connected in that, and it rings bells for you, or we happen to make some comments here and there that shine a light for you on something that's been confusing or something you hadn't seen within yourself. That's kind of what it's all about.
It is.
It
is.
We're just here, being vulnerable and sharing everything. Cause I think that's something I will say that I'm really proud of both of us for. Is the willingness to just put it out there. Yeah, because a lot of people aren't willing, I guess, right? You're right. So we might regret that, but I don't think so. We might. Who knows? We might. We talk about, a few years from now when this is like, we've got like thousands of followers and we're like hitting it in, whatever. Like, we talk about that and we're like, not everybody's going to like us. We're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And you know what? That's okay. That is okay. And I think this is just gearing us up for coming into those ways when this podcast becomes more successful. I mean, there's just always going to be that kickback. I think with anything that you do, not everybody's going to like you. Yeah. And we need to be okay with that. And you just gave me the most perfect segue imaginable for what I wanted to talk about. You're really good at that. I can't tell if you're doing it on purpose or it's just happening. I did it intentionally. Good for you. Because I'm like, let's get into it. Nailed it. Let's get into it. Yeah. So it's like we said, it's been a couple of weeks since Gina and I caught up, and it's been a whirlwind for you because you've been just thick as a dog. Yeah. It's been a whirlwind for me because I had pretty much the most intense trigger for what is sort of my core wound that I've been chipping away at for many, many years, like my whole life. I had the most intense trigger for that core wound that I've ever had in my entire life. And in the interest of not doxing anyone and keeping it all private. I'm going to whittle it down. I'm going to give you guys the best Cliff Notes version I can. But essentially I had two friends, both of whom I highly admire. These are people who I don't know extremely well, but we were getting closer and closer, developing closer and closer relationships. But mostly these are people who I met, who I looked up to and greatly, greatly admired. And for me, my whole life, my big core wound is the fear of judgment of others. And of course, there's stuff underneath that is we've talked about this in the past. You know, what's the worst thing about being judged? Well, it means that I'm not good enough, or it means that I'm all of these things that I doubt about myself, or I'm the lowest version of myself that as a child I thought that I was, right? I've grown past most of that on a cognitive level. But that wound still exists because it can be triggered. If it can be triggered, that means it's still there and you still got work to do in that department. And so the fear of judgment of others was something that would come into play, not so much for strangers. Like, I don't give a crap what some random stranger thinks, but people close to me in my life, my family, my friends, and then especially people I look up to for whatever reason. Anyone that I am in a state of admiration of, or that I've put on a pedestal, that would be the most catastrophic thing, to have somebody who I look up to judge me for any reason at all. And so I had this recent experience in the last couple of weeks. Well, let's give them names. Let's say Sarah and Betty.
Okay.
Help me remember those names. Sarah over here and Betty's over here. So Sarah and Betty were friends, and Sarah and Betty had a falling out, a big falling out, a really dramatic falling out.
It happens.
And here I am, friends and developing deeper friendships with both of them. And this huge, gigantic drama of a situation unfolded where I felt as though I was getting caught in the crossfire.
I've been there.
And it started where essentially nobody was coming at me. It wasn't like I was under attack per se, but I could sense, so I had been spending more time with Betty. Betty had been offering me certain opportunities, and they were amazing opportunities that I was really enjoying. And it was very expansive for me. I was getting to grow in certain ways and go outside of my comfort zone. And I was having a wonderful time with Betty. And I could tell that Sarah was making assumptions that I was choosing sides in this feud that was going on. I could feel Sarah judging me. I could feel a pulling away, like a blacklisting, like I would be excluded from her life and everything and anyone that has anything to do with her. And my nervous system, as you guys know, I have been actively and intentionally working on healing my nervous system for it's about 5 months now. And so as this is going on, all of the progress I'd made in my healing journey, like my pain level that I'd been in physical, intense 8 out of 10 pain for a decade. And by, a couple of weeks ago was down to almost nothing. The pain started coming back. I started not sleeping again. I was having heart palpitations all day. I mean, I was in full-blown nervous system meltdown.
Dysregulation. Because
I could feel the intensity of judgment and misunderstanding. Like I was not in a state of choosing sides at all. I just want to love everyone. I just want to be friends with everyone. And I can do that. I can set aside any preconceived anything and just be friends with everyone. And it was Betty who was providing and offering opportunities for us to spend time together and develop the relationship. And so I'm saying yes to these opportunities. And so here I am in this position where it's like, I don't want to choose sides, but I feel like I have to. I feel like I'm being put in a position where I have to choose sides. And no matter what I choose, if I choose Sarah, I'm going to lose out on the opportunities and these wonderful experiences that I'm having with Betty.
Yeah.
And Betty, who I don't know very well, but I'm developing a relationship and I love this person. I can just tell this is my person, just loving and kind and supportive.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I choose Sarah, I'm losing all of that. If I choose Betty and I continue with these opportunities, I'm feeling the heat and the judgment from Sarah. And all of this was just triggering the absolute ever-loving shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
And my nervous system reacting. So it's not just emotional meltdown, it was physical meltdown
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Mm-hmm.
And after much rumination and freaking out for like 3 straight days over all of this, I finally, you guys remember my mom from whatever episode that was. My mom came on talking about the belief work and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I called my mom. She helped me work through some of the deep beliefs inside about fear of judgment. We did a bunch of clearing on fear of judgment, the fear of rejection, the fear of if I let go of these opportunities, no more are coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a bunch of clearings and I spent a few days just sitting with it. And then I woke up one morning and I knew that what I needed to do was communicate. Instead of just sitting with all of this by myself, I needed to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
And so I reached out to Sarah, who's the one that I was feeling the judgment and the withdrawal and the blacklisting from. And you guys, this is the people pleaser in me. So this was a little bit still of a trauma response coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote this long text message just saying, look, this is a bid for connection. I just want you to know where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not choosing sides.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to love everyone. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought for sure, if I just share my heart,
Mm-hmm.
she'll see my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what happened.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What came back to me was just zero acknowledgement of my heart that I just shared and the vulnerability that I just offered. Zero compassion for the situation that I was in that had nothing to do with me, yet I'm the one, having this experience of anxiety and reaction and feeling torn.
Mm-hmm.
No acknowledgement of my feelings, no compassion at all whatsoever, only seething judgment of Betty. And I thought, now I need to communicate with Betty and see what kind of response I get there. And I think that's going to tell me quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did. And you know what Betty's response was? Nothing but love,
Mm-hmm.
support, compassion. I'm so sorry you've been put in this position.
Mm-hmm.
I am so sorry that you feel this way. Do whatever you need to do. Make whatever choice you need to make that's right for you.
Mm-hmm.
I totally understand. Well, that kind of tells me all I need to know.
Yeah.
And so what I did end up deciding to do was temporarily pulling back from the entire situation because of the fact that my physical body was having this nervous system reaction. And as we've talked about on the episodes where we talked about rewiring the brain, and when we had Courtney on and she was talking about the limbic system and how the brain follows these well-worn neural pathways.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because I'm still in this physical healing process, I'm aware that it was critically important for me to pull back from the entire situation, because right now my brain is jumping back to those old fear-based neural pathways, and I'm having a physical reaction that I can't control. Even though I know what the right choice for me here is, I know what my heart wants, I know who I'm in alignment with now from this situation, from the clarity that I got, but my body is responding in a way that I can't control. So I pulled back from all of it. And after a few days, having recognized who in that situation was supportive and loving and who was
not supportive and loving,
who was kind of showing me some narcissistic tendencies, certainly lack of compassion or lack of giving a shit at all about how this was affecting me, it told me really the truth about who my people are. And something happened that has never happened before. I stopped giving a shit what Sarah thinks. That has never happened, you guys. I got to the point where I don't care what strangers think, but I literally in this moment, having had this very clarifying experience, we talked about last time or before Robin, we talked about contrast generating expansion and how even when you're going through really heavy, uncomfortable stuff, there's a gift in that. The opportunity exists in every single challenging situation to both find the wounds that need to be healed, but also, worst case scenario, you can always gain clarity from these situations. And wow, was this experience clarifying for me. And for the first time ever, having doing the belief work with my mom and going through all of this, I really feel like I honestly don't care what Sarah thinks. Why would I care what a person who can't see me, even after I share my heart with them, even after I share all of my perspective, they can't see me. They have no compassion and no support for where I'm at. Why do I care what that person thinks? And I genuinely feel in this moment like that is the truth of it. If I found out tomorrow that Sarah hates my guts, I don't really care anymore. This is huge for me, guys. This is monumental. That is my big win for the last couple of weeks.
It's a big win.
It's a big win. Yeah. And I'm giving my body time for the nervous system aspect of it to chill the F out. But when my body feels ready, I'm going to step right back into my relationship with Betty. The relationship hasn't ended at all. We're still connected and everything. I'm just not like participating in the opportunities that she was offering me. But what a massive, massive, massive win for me. It feels like it was the biggest trigger of my life. And it was because of the nature of who these people are to me that it was really, really big. I hope this doesn't sound arrogant or anything, but I'm blown away that I was able to get to where I am on this issue that a year ago, I would still be tail spinning about it. It would be weeks and weeks and weeks of tailspin.
At the Why of It All, we are passionate about healing mind, spirit, and body. And that's why we're proud to be sponsored by a brand whose passion for wellness runs as deep as ours, Tulip Blooms. Tulip Blooms is a family-owned American small business that crafts premium skincare products with intention, purity, and so much heart. Every product is handcrafted in small batches with 100% organic, natural, cruelty-free ingredients, formulated to nourish, soothe, rejuvenate, and support your skin's natural vitality. They offer lotions, body butter, facial serums, artisan soaps, and candles, and even hair and beard oil for the guys. Whether you're looking to deeply hydrate, rejuvenate, or simply love your body with a bit more ritual pampering, Tulip Blooms delivers high-vibe care you can feel good about because it's skincare rooted in nature, backed by integrity, and made with love. When you shop small, every purchase supports a dream and makes a real difference in the lives of a real family. Tulip Blooms is more than just a skincare company. They're part of a healing movement, and your purchase helps to keep that movement growing. Visit tulipblooms.shop and use our exclusive promo code HEAL, that's HEAL, at checkout for a sweet discount of 10% off your order.
And we had that talk this morning about those triggers. You know what I mean? And like how this triggered all those things in you and how you were able to work through this. And we talked about my triggers too this morning, like some of the things that I kind of struggle with too. And it's just about really. I think we talked this morning a little bit about how a feeling can come up, something can trigger me, something really small can trigger me. But now I feel like I have the tools and I'm in my healing journey far enough where it comes, I can observe the feeling. It's physical. Like we talked, I get this little knot in my stomach and I can observe it and then I can release it. And then I can just keep moving about my day, which 6 months ago, a year ago, it would put me in a tailspin. And I would have to, I don't know, like get on the phone and try to look up like positive quotes and like things to like try to get my brain, rewire my brain, and to just like hush the trigger. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And now it's like I can sit with it, and I can sit with the emotion, with the feeling, let it be uncomfortable for a minute, dig into it, and then release it. You know what I mean? So I feel like we're both, certain different things trigger us, right?
Mhm.
We both have feelings of, I think we both struggle with feelings of judgment and like not feeling worthy and things like that. But they manifest in different ways in
Yeah.
our lives, if they not.
Yeah.
For me, it's been more about intimate relationships with
Mhm.
intimate romantic partners.
Mhm.
You have never really had that type of
It's more social for me.
yeah, it's more
Mhm.
social for you.
Mhm.
Yeah. And for me, it's always been linked to like a romantic partner or like a relationship gone wrong or whatever. Staying too long, or, you know, not having my needs met, or having a person verbally, emotionally, mentally abuse me. And so it just feels good to be in a place now where I can have a trigger, something can come up, and then I can just gently observe it, know that it's just an emotion, it's just a feeling, and those feelings are going to pass.
Mhm.
And it's comforting.
Yeah.
If you think about it, right? Because the nervous, we are now learning how to regulate our nervous
Mhm.
system. You're learning it through Courtney and through all her stuff.
Mhm.
I'm learning it through other modalities, therapy, you know, last year, and all kinds of things, meditation and prayer and things like that, and educating myself really on you know, the traumatic stuff that
Mhm.
I've been through, you know. So I don't know. I just think we're like inching along, baby steps.
Yeah.
That's what one of my shout out to Stephanie, because anytime like she's one of those friends just like you, where I'm super vulnerable with her. I can tell her anything. She doesn't judge. She's just very, you know, accepting, because we've been through a lot of the same things. And so when you have a lot of experiences that you share in common, I can just tell her anything. And like if I screw up or something, I'm like, God dang it, you know, I did this, or oh, I sent a long paragraph and I really shouldn't have, or I should have shut up. And she's like, it's okay, baby steps, baby
Yeah.
steps. This is your journey. And it's like, it takes the pressure off a little bit. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, you know what? I'm not perfect. I'm going to screw up. I'm going to digress sometimes, right? But then you just keep going.
Yeah.
You just keep going. And then you do better the next time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just been like baby steps for me.
And then it's like, this might sound a little crazy, but there's a part of me that almost is strangely eager for the next thing that would have triggered the crap out of me
Mm-hmm.
to see how much easier it is for me to respond. Like and actually there was one, I just popped into my head. I think I told you this. I can't remember, but Sarah and Betty. Well, there's a third person who's sort of peripherally involved with that whole saga.
Mm-hmm.
And I had already decided that I was going to step back from the whole thing and wanted nothing to do with it anymore for the time being. Well, this third person had reached out to me, and I was anticipating that it was going to be, you know, trying to get my take on things and keeping me involved.
Mm-hmm.
And in the past, I would have responded with like full blown over-explain. It was like the long ass text message I had sent to Sarah. Just here's my entire perspective and my heart and my feelings, and fawning, just like fawning. Please don't hurt me. Love me, please. Don't judge me. And when I first got this third person's message, instead of reacting, I responded. And instead of fawning, I literally sent this short, concise, just basically assertive, setting a boundary and just saying,
which is hard.
I'm not interested in being involved anymore. And I was still kind and compassionate for this other person's perspective for how they're involved. I literally said, I understand that I know you're trying to connect and you want to have this conversation. I need to protect my own well-being. And I understand that not having this conversation with you might cause a bit of frustration for you. And
that's,
but I need to do what's right for me. And it wasn't this crazy long thing. I didn't apologize for anything because I got nothing to apologize for.
yeah.
I didn't apologize. I didn't fawn. I didn't get ooey gooey. I was just kind and compassionate, but brief and concise and setting a firm boundary. I was so proud of myself.
You should be proud of yourself. And you know what we're going to talk about? I think we need to do a whole podcast on boundaries. You just like, literally like that. What you did was loving yourself. What you did was respecting your boundaries. You had just been through this stressful, emotional roller coaster with this event that happened with Betty and Sarah. And then this comes to you. So you already experienced it. You've already experienced that win because then that happened a week later.
Well, it was within a week. Within a week, yeah.
And look how you loved yourself. Look how you honored. Yeah, we got to do a whole. I think that might be our next.
And
boundaries.
I had said to my husband Ben,
boundaries.
like, because I had asked him, ask him to read the response, the brief response that I did. I'm like, does this sound okay? Because I've never not fawned before in a situation like that. So I'm like, is this okay? And he was like, yeah, actually, that's really good. You've said everything you need to say. And I even said to him, like, I'm really proud of myself for the way that I'm not tail spinning about this, the way that I'm responding, not reacting, the way that I'm not ruminating for hours and hours and hours over the right exact wording, how I need to deliver this message so that everybody's cool with me.
Right. That was really honoring yourself. In that moment.
And here I am. I'm kind of like somebody pull some shit.
Yeah.
I can see how I'm going to react. Like it's brand new territory for me.
I'm going to tell your husband to pick a fight with you or something like tomorrow or something. See how you respond.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. No, we need to do a whole episode on boundaries.
Let's keep talking about wins because we're kind of naturally just going that way. We were thinking about making that another episode, but let's just keep going.
Okay.
Because did you have another one?
Yeah. I mean, you mean in the last couple of weeks? Yeah. I mean, I would say, are we talking about that one that I talked about this morning?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, how just like really more like a trigger. As far as a win, like in the last couple of weeks, I don't know if most of you, I guess I've discussed on here, like I started a whole new career in the last couple of weeks. So I started this brand new career and in the financial world. And I come from 30 years of being in the dental world. So at 49 years old, after almost being in the dental industry for 30 years, I'm completely changing careers. And so I would say, like for me, there's been so many small wins this week. This has been my second week at this new job. And I was telling Melanie earlier, I was at my last job as an office manager for a dental practice for 12 years. And I grew very close and very connected. These were like my family. And I still love all these people. Like I'm going to make it a priority to still keep in touch with all of these people because they were like family to me, especially the doctor I worked for. I just love him. And so I was with these people for so long. And so I was telling one of my friends about this transition and how, this is going to help me grow professionally, emotionally, mentally, all the ways, and personally. And he's like, Gina, when you were at that other office, you were planted in this pot, you just grew out of the pot. And now you're just being transplanted.
Transplanted.
I
like that.
Transplanted into a bigger pot. And so I love it. I love that analogy because it's like, I'm moving on up.
Do you know what you call a plant that's stuck in too small of a pot?
What?
Root bound.
That's exactly where I was. And it's not that I didn't love my job. That's what was so hard. Why it was so hard to leave. It's not that I didn't love my job, but I was, in a sense, capped out. I was root bound.
Think about that. The analogy.
Yeah.
With that.
I was root bound.
Oh my God.
That job.
That is pretty, when you think about that,
Yeah.
And what if that relates to when we're talking about the deepest core of ourselves?
Mm-hmm.
The roots of the plant are what draw in nourishment
Mm-hmm.
from the soil around it.
Mm-hmm.
A root-bound plant can't grow. It can't draw nourishment. Eventually, the plant is going to die if it doesn't get up potted and given space to expand into what it is. The roots will always grow first before the canopy grows.
Before the blooms come.
And certainly before the blooms come.
Okay.
What a cool analogy.
So this is where I am right now in life. I have just been transplanted in a bigger pot so that my roots now will have a chance, right, to breathe.
It gives you room to grow.
Yeah. So, so that is honestly my biggest win. And literally at this new job, I was telling Melanie last night, she was probably like sick of hearing me talk about it, but like everything, it's kind of like drinking out of a fire hydrant right now in my new career, because I really don't know anything about the financial world, but my boss is so cool and she's just so understanding. She's like, you're going to get it. Like, you're going to get it. It's going to click. But just like right now, just think of yourself as drinking out of a fire hydrant. So that's what it's been for me. But at the same time, it's so exciting. Like there's this like feeling in me of like such alignment, if that makes sense. Like, even though I'm at work and I'm learning and things don't make sense and it's confusing, I'm looking at all this stuff on the screen. I'm like, but it's at the same time, I have this like little smirk on my face. At the same time, I feel so in alignment with where I'm at, with my environment, with just her, with my new boss. Like, it's just,
I've heard you say it's overwhelming, but you're not overwhelmed.
Yes.
It's overwhelming in terms of the drinking from a fire hydrant.
Yes, it is.
But you're not
I don't
overwhelmed.
No.
Every time you've talked about it, you're like, it's crazy how much information they're throwing at me.
Yes.
But you're smiling and joyful it's like the donkey shit river story.
Yes. It's like I don't feel stressed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like it's overwhelming, but like it's not stressing me, if that makes sense. It's like I'm just like, you know what? Every day is a new day. I'm coming in every day, fresh eyes. I'm gonna learn 10 more things today. I'm literally like soaking it all in. I'm like a sponge. And so what a cool place to be at 49 years old, almost half a century old. Like, I'm starting to become aware of my age, just because of this huge growth spurt.
Mm-hmm.
And that's cool. I think it's great to be okay with that and to be like, okay,
I think there's a lot of other people who would be in your same situation who would be freaking out and stressed out and overwhelmed. Yeah. But it has to do with your mindset. You're looking at this as a growth opportunity. You're excited to be there. You've chosen to you've gone in knowing that you were going to be biting a big chunk off.
Oh yeah.
And that you were ready and going in.
Yeah.
And you've maintained a state of excitement and joy about this. Yeah. It totally reminds me of the donkey shit river thing. And I don't remember what episode that was.
It was very early on.
It was one of the mindset episodes. It might have been.
It might have been 5,
episode 4 or 5 or 6. But yeah, I mean, you could have 2 different people in the identical situation, and your mindset and the way you're looking at it is what determines whether you will be, in this particular example, overwhelmed or it's a lot and it's intense, but you're excited and you're happy to be there.
And I was going to say too, I think also people in my situation, given that opportunity, because I was headhunted, like I wasn't even looking really for a job. I was headhunted. And so I think also a lot of people would have been too scared to take that leap. You know what I mean? It's easy and it's comfortable to stay where you're comfortable, right? It's easy to, it's easy to sit where you're at and just do the same thing. I mean, I did for a long time and it served its purpose. But like, I had a friend, like, she's like, I don't know if I could have done that. I would have been scared to like take that leap, at this point in your life. And it's a leap of faith. It really is. It's a leap of faith, but I already know. It's interesting. I already know, like in here, in my soul, in my heart, it's the right choice. And so many beautiful things are going to come out of this. Like I just already see it. I already see it.
That's a hell of a win.
It's cool.
And that's, we're here talking today about wins because it came out of a conversation we were having this morning over coffee, I think, where we were talking about it's so important, especially when you're on a healing journey, to acknowledge the wins, to recognize them, to really just milk the shit out of those wins. Because the healing process, as we all know, is not a linear process. There are going to be difficult moments. Things are going to ramp up. Like I had this gigantic, biggest of all triggers ever, just a few weeks ago, after 5 months into feeling the best I've felt in a decade. And the trigger came, and it was really intense and really uncomfortable for a week or so. And then, plus a few days here and there. But for me, focusing on the incredible, relief I got in releasing the fears and then seeing myself in real time, responding instead of reacting, seeing myself and feeling what it felt like for the first time ever to finally let go of needing this person I admired to recognize me and see me for who I am. And milking that win has allowed me to move through and continue forward without just continuing to marinate and chew on all of it constantly. Like, I think a lot of people, don't give enough time and consideration to their wins. I think especially when you're healing, I think it's really important. Talking about gratitude, and we were talking about that last episode with Robin about the power of gratitude, and that's really what Milking the Wins is all about. It's about taking this time out from the rest of your very busy life and getting really super present with the win, having gratitude for what has occurred, having gratitude for yourself, for the progress that you've made. I think it's really, really important that we do that.
And it's the mindset. It's the mindset. It's what you were just talking about.
And then when things get hard, which they inevitably will, there will inevitably be setbacks and things. You still have those wins that you can remember and think back on. You can still recognize that, okay, this is just a nonlinear process.
It's interesting as I'm hearing her talk, like we're talking, and we're going to wrap it up in just a minute. But what's interesting is that Melanie and I have always talked about this, how we're always going through the same things at the same time. Is it not true?
It's the parallel life.
It's the parallel life.
Different circumstances, but bringing up the same stuff,
the same gunk that we deal with. And I think that's just what connects us, is like just the fact that we're on this journey together. And when I'm telling her what's going on with me, she gets it. Like, she just gets it, because she's either going through something similar currently, or she's just been through it, or she's got experience on it. And it's just crazy how, I mean, that's the why of it all. Guys. That's why we started this podcast, because we have these groundbreaking, like, amazing conversations that weren't being recorded for years. And at our inception, we're like, you know what, if somebody can listen to us and take something away that's going to be useful and helpful and healing for them, why not? Why not be vulnerable and just allow ourselves to just speak it out and
put it out there?
Yeah. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're going to keep doing.
Yeah.
So
I can't believe we made it all the way to 43 minutes.
We said this was going to be short, but
I know.
It wasn't. Anyway.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you for joining us. I am so excited to see if this audio and video quality is everything that I imagine it will be with this amazing internet. We're going to see about that. But this has been really, really good. I love this conversation about wins. I love how organic it flowed and how we just kind of popped into our head this morning and we just went with it. So it
was great.
It's been great. And if you all enjoyed this conversation, please, please, please just hit the little button down there, whatever platform you're on. If it's like or follow or subscribe, or if you're on a platform that offers the opportunity for reviews, do that for us. That is the very, very best way to support this show and help us grow. Sharing with your friends is the other way. So if you know of anybody out there who's on their own healing journey, who could use a good reminder to celebrate the wins.
Tell them to listen to Melanie and Gina.
Send it over. Send it over. So thank you so much. We love you all, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.